Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn and Chat. I'm very happy you're here today. If you're learning English, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we'll explore interesting topics using clear and simple English. You don't need to understand every word. Just relax, listen, and enjoy the conversation. Little by little, your English will improve. Today's topic is baseball and softball. These two sports are very popular in many countries. They look similar, but they are not exactly the same. In this episode, we'll discover how they work and why millions of people enjoy watching and playing them. Let's start with baseball. Imagine it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is shining, the grass is green, and people are walking into a large stadium. Families are smiling, children are wearing their favorite team's cap, and friends are talking while they look for their seats. The players walk onto the field, and the crowd begins to cheer. The game is about to begin. Everyone is excited because anything can happen. Baseball is one of the most popular sports in the United States, but it is also loved in countries like Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Canada. Every year, millions of people watch professional games, while many others play baseball in parks, schools, and local leagues. One reason baseball is so popular is that it is a sport for everyone. You don't have to be the tallest or the strongest player. Baseball rewards patience, practice, teamwork, and good decisions. So how does the game work? Baseball is played by two teams. Each team has 9 players. One team is on offense, and the other team is on defense. After a while, they switch roles. At the end of the game, the team with the most runs wins. The game is played on a field with 4 bases. They're called first base, second base, third base, and home plate. Together, these 4 bases form the shape of a diamond. Every play begins at home plate. The batter stands next to home plate holding a bat. The batter's goal is to hit the ball and start running around the bases. Standing in the middle of the field is another very important player, the pitcher. The pitcher throws the ball toward the batter. Every pitch creates a new challenge. The pitcher wants the batter to miss the ball or hit it poorly. The batter wants to make strong contact and send the ball into the field. This moment lasts only a few seconds, but it is one of the most exciting parts of the game. If the batter hits the ball, everything changes immediately. The batter drops the bat and runs to first base. At the same time, the defensive players chase the ball. One player catches it, another throws it, and everyone works together to stop the runner. If the runner reaches the base first, the runner is safe. If the defense gets there first, the runner is out. Sometimes the batter reaches only first base. Sometimes the player reaches second or third base. And sometimes something amazing happens. The batter hits the ball so far that it leaves the field. This is called a home run. When that happens, the batter can run around all 4 bases and score a run for the team. Fans love home runs because they are exciting and can completely change a game. But baseball is not only about hitting the ball. It is also about thinking. Pitchers decide which pitch to throw. Batters decide whether to swing or wait. Runners decide when to run. Managers decide the team strategy. Every decision matters. That is why many people say baseball is like a game of chess. Players are always thinking about the next move. Now let's learn some important vocabulary. A bat is the object used to hit the ball. A ball is the small white ball used during the game. A base is one of the 4 places runners must reach. A pitcher throws the ball. A batter tries to hit the ball. And a team is a group of players working together. These are some of the most common words you'll hear while watching baseball. Before we finish this first part, remember one important idea. Baseball is much more than a sport. It teaches patience, teamwork, discipline, and concentration. Every game is different, and every pitch can change the story. In the next part, we'll talk about softball. We'll discover why it looks similar to baseball, what makes it different, and why many people around the world love playing this exciting sport. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing your English every day, and I'll see you in part 2. Welcome back. In the first part of this episode, we learned the basic idea of baseball. We talked about the pitcher, the batter, the bases, and how teams score runs. Now it's time to learn about softball. Many people believe softball is simply another version of baseball. At first, they look almost identical. Both sports use a bat, a ball, gloves, and 4 bases. Players hit the ball, run around the field, and try to score more runs than the other team. However, after watching a softball game for just a few minutes, you'll begin to notice some important differences. Let's start with the ball. The softball is larger than a baseball. This is usually the first thing people notice. Even though it is called softball, the ball is actually hard. It is not soft at all. The name surprises many people because they expect the ball to feel soft. But it doesn't. It is made from strong materials, just like a baseball. The next difference is the field. A softball field is smaller than a baseball field. The bases are closer together, and the distance between the pitcher and the batter is shorter. Because the field is smaller, the game often feels very fast. The ball reaches the players quickly. The runners arrive at the bases in only a few seconds. Fielders must react immediately. There is very little time to think. That makes every play exciting. Now let's talk about pitching. This is probably the biggest difference between baseball and softball. In baseball, pitchers usually throw the ball overhand. Their arm moves above the shoulder before releasing the ball. In softball, pitchers usually throw underhand. Their arm makes a full circle before they release the ball. Many people think underhand pitching must be easier. That is not true. Professional softball pitchers throw with incredible speed and amazing accuracy. Some pitches travel so fast that batters have only a fraction of a second to react. Hitting a softball can be just as difficult as hitting a baseball. Another interesting difference is the length of the game. A professional baseball game usually lasts 9 innings. A softball game is often 7 innings. This means softball games are sometimes a little shorter, but they're still full of action from beginning to end. Now you may be asking a simple question. What is an inning? An inning is one part of the game. During an inning, one team bats while the other team plays defense. After the defensive team gets 3 outs, the teams change places. The team that was batting now plays defense, and the defensive team begins batting. This happens again and again until the game is finished. Understanding innings is one of the first steps to understanding both baseball and softball. Let's learn a few more important words. A glove is what players wear on one hand to catch the ball. A catcher is the player behind the batter. The catcher receives the pitches and helps the pitcher during the game. An out happens when the defensive team stops a player. An inning is one section of a game. And a home run is one of the most exciting plays in baseball or softball. When you hear these words during a game, you'll understand much more than before. One of the best things about softball is that it is played by people of all ages. Children play softball at school. Teenagers play in tournaments. Adults play in local leagues. Some people even continue playing after they retire because they simply love the game. Softball is also a very social sport. Many people join teams to make new friends, exercise, and spend time outdoors. Winning is important, of course, but having fun is also a big part of the experience. Just like baseball, softball teaches valuable life lessons. Players learn to communicate with their teammates. They learn to stay calm under pressure. They learn that practice is more important than talent alone. And they learn that every player has an important job. No one wins a game alone. Every teammate matters. Before we finish this part, let's review what we've learned. Softball and baseball are very similar sports. Both have bats, balls, gloves, bases, pitchers, batters, and runners. But softball uses a larger ball, a smaller field, underhand pitching, and usually fewer innings. These differences give softball its own unique style and make it just as exciting to watch and play. In the next part of our episode, we'll compare baseball and softball side by side. We'll answer common questions, clear up some myths, and discover why fans love both sports for different reasons. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in part 3. Welcome back. So far, we've learned what baseball is and what softball is. We've also discovered that they share many similarities, but they're not exactly the same sport. Now let's compare them side by side. One of the first questions people ask is, which sport is harder? The answer is simple. Neither sport is easy. Baseball is challenging in many ways, and softball has its own unique challenges. Let's begin with the ball. A baseball is smaller than a softball. Because it is smaller, many people think it must be more difficult to hit. On the other hand, The larger softball reaches the batter very quickly because the pitcher stands much closer. Even though the ball is bigger, batters have less time to react. That makes softball very challenging too. Now let's compare the field. A baseball field is larger. Players often have to throw the ball over longer distances, and outfielders may run a long way to catch a deep fly ball. A softball field is smaller, but that doesn't mean it's easier. Since the field is smaller, the action happens much faster. Fielders must make quick decisions and accurate throws in only a few seconds. Next, let's think about the pitchers. Baseball pitchers usually throw overhand. Some professional pitchers can throw the ball at incredible speeds, sometimes faster than 100 miles per hour. Softball pitchers throw underhand. The motion looks smoother, but don't let that fool you. Elite softball pitchers are extremely skilled, and their pitches can be very difficult to hit because of their speed, movement, and accuracy. Another difference is the game itself. Baseball often has long moments of strategy. Players think carefully before every pitch. Managers study the situation and make important decisions. Softball usually feels faster from beginning to end. Because the field is smaller, there is less time to react, and exciting plays happen one after another. Both sports require concentration. Both sports require teamwork. And both sports reward players who practice regularly. Now let's talk about the equipment. The bat used in baseball is usually a little different from the bat used in softball. The balls are different sizes, and the gloves may also be designed differently depending on the player's position. However, the basic equipment is very similar. Players wear a glove. Batters wear a helmet to protect their head. Catchers wear special protective equipment because they receive every pitch. Safety is very important in both sports. Let's imagine two young players. One chooses baseball. The other chooses softball. Both practice every week. Both learn how to throw, catch, hit, and run. After a few months, both players become more confident. After a few years, both become much better athletes. The lesson is simple. No matter which sport you choose, improvement comes through practice. There are no shortcuts. Now let's learn a few more useful words. Helmet is the hard hat that protects the batter. Glove is used to catch the ball. Runner is the player running from one base to another. Coach is the person who teaches and guides the team. Umpire is the official who makes decisions during the game. These words are very common in both baseball and softball. Another interesting fact is that baseball and softball are played all over the world. International tournaments bring together teams from many different countries. Players have different languages, different cultures, and different traditions. But once the game begins, everyone understands the same rules. Sports have a special way of connecting people. You don't always need to speak the same language to enjoy a great game together. That's one reason many English learners enjoy watching sports. While you're having fun, you're also listening to real English. You hear interviews with players. You hear commentators explaining the game. You learn new vocabulary naturally. Little by little, your listening skills improve without feeling like you're studying. That's exactly what we're doing in this podcast. You're learning English while discovering interesting topics. And that makes learning much more enjoyable. Before we finish this part, let's remember one important idea. People sometimes argue about which sport is better. But maybe that's the wrong question. Baseball is a wonderful sport. Softball is also a wonderful sport. They are different, but both require skill, discipline, teamwork, and dedication. Instead of choosing one over the other, many fans simply enjoy both. In the final part of today's episode, we'll talk about why these sports continue to inspire millions of people around the world. We'll also review everything we've learned and finish with some useful vocabulary that you can remember after today's lesson. I'll see you in part 4. Welcome back to the final part of today's episode. So far, we've learned what baseball is, what softball is, and how these two sports are both similar and different. Now let's talk about something even more important. Why do millions of people love these sports? The answer is not only because they are fun to watch. Baseball and softball teach valuable lessons that can also help us in everyday life. The first lesson is patience. In baseball and softball, players cannot rush. A batter may wait for the perfect pitch before swinging. A pitcher must stay calm and think carefully before every throw. A runner must decide the right moment to leave the base. Sometimes the best decision is to wait. This is also true when learning English. Many students want to become fluent in just a few weeks. But language learning takes time. Every new word, every conversation, and every podcast you listen to helps you improve a little more. Small progress every day becomes big progress over time. The second lesson is teamwork. No baseball or softball player wins a game alone. A pitcher needs good defenders. A batter needs teammates who can score. The catcher works with the pitcher. The coach helps everyone prepare. Every player has an important role. Life is very similar. At school, at work, and at home, we often succeed because we work together with other people. The third lesson is confidence. Every player makes mistakes. Even professional players miss the ball. Even the best pitchers allow hits. Even great fielders sometimes drop the ball. Mistakes are part of every sport. The important thing is to learn from them and keep playing. The same is true when learning English. You will make mistakes. You will forget words. Sometimes you won't understand everything you hear, and that's perfectly normal. Every mistake teaches you something new. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Be afraid of giving up. Keep practicing, and you'll continue improving. Now, let's imagine you're watching your very first baseball game. At the beginning, everything feels confusing. Players are running in different directions. The umpire makes calls. The crowd cheers. People use words you've never heard before. But after watching for a while, you begin to understand. You recognize the bases. You understand what an out is. You know why everyone gets excited after a home run. Suddenly, the game becomes much more enjoyable. Learning English works exactly the same way. The first podcast may seem difficult. The second one feels a little easier. After 10 or 20 episodes, you'll notice that you understand much more than before. That is why consistency is so important. Listening a little every day is much better than studying for many hours only once a month. Now, let's review some of today's vocabulary. A bat is used to hit the ball. A ball is what the players throw and hit. A base is one of the 4 places runners must reach. A pitcher throws the ball. A batter tries to hit the ball. A runner moves from one base to another. A glove helps players catch the ball. A helmet protects the batter. A catcher receives the pitches behind home plate. A coach helps the team improve. An umpire makes the decisions during the game. A home run happens when the batter hits the ball out of the field and safely circles all the bases. These are some of the most useful words for beginners, and you'll hear them many times if you watch baseball or softball in English. Before we finish, I'd like to leave you with a small challenge. This week, try watching 5 or 10 minutes of a baseball or softball game in English. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just listen. See if you recognize some of the words you learned today. Maybe you'll hear pitcher. Maybe you'll hear runner. Maybe you'll hear home run. Every word you recognize is a victory. Little by little, your listening skills will become stronger. And remember, learning English doesn't always have to feel like studying. You can learn while listening to interesting stories, watching sports, exploring history, discovering science, or simply enjoying a good conversation. That is the idea behind Charlando y Aprendiendo. We learn something new while we practice English together. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something useful. If you like this podcast, come back for the next episode. We'll continue exploring interesting topics using simple English that helps you build confidence one episode at a time. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, stay curious, and most importantly, never stop improving. Thank you for being here. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.